Hey everyone, it's Bina 007 back for another 10-minute movie review. And today I'm talking about Matty Diop's Dahomey, which comes to the London Film Festival having already won the coveted Golden Bear at the Berlin Festival earlier this year. And it's made by Matty Diop, who is a French Senegalese director, and her prior film, which was a fiction film called The Atlantics, was all about migrants making the crossing to Europe as refugees. And this film, once again, is very centered on that relationship between Africa and Europe, or the colonized and the colonizers. So it's a relatively short film at around 70 minutes, and it alternates between a sort of spiritual fantasy centered on these Beninese artifacts that were looted by the imperialists, and a very cold, hard political debate. And the resulting film is austere, provocative, and urgent. So the movie opens in a French museum where we've got curators, this is in pandemic era, are packing 26 artifacts that were originally looted from Benin by French colonists over 100 years ago. Among them is quote unquote number 26, the statue of a powerful 19th century king who, in a very eerie voiceover in his native language of Fon, bristles that these men do not know his name or who he is. And really, Matty Diop puts the camera in his shoes as he's being shipped home. So we follow the camera inside the packing crates, we hear the lids being sealed shut, and we hear the engines of the aeroplane hum and take off and land. And then we see the unboxing in Benin and the processional route of these artifacts to their new home in a beautiful new museum. As Matty Diop made clear in her post-film Q&A, it's ambiguous how far the cheering crowds and singing women on the streets are genuinely excited to see the return of these artifacts, or whether this is a staged mise-en-scène courtesy of the Benin president. And this neatly brings us back to the latter half of the film where we hear university students debate the meaning of the artifact's return. Should they be grateful that their president and France's President Macron did a deal? Or should they remain angry that only 26 out of a whopping 7,000 artifacts have come back? Should they see this as an historical occasion or a political one designed to shore up the popularity of both presidents? And as I was watching this, I was really struck by the fact that, my goodness, this whole debate is being done in French. So even though Benin's been independent for many decades, the language in which they're being taught, in which they're articulating these views, is still that of the colonizer. And I was really pleased when one of the young students did point this out and said that she felt appalled that she couldn't express herself in Fon or any of the other native languages because they're not taught. And indeed, another young woman asked what resources would be made available so that children in rural areas could come to the capital and see these artifacts and learn about their history and feel pride in it and know that there was this rich cultural, powerful history to take pride in. As the movie closes, we're on the streets of the capital of Benin with Matty Diop's camera sort of calmly moving among the street sellers and bars, much as the movie opened actually on the streets of Paris, hovering over trinket sellers by the Eiffel Tower. But as the movie closes, the camera lingers on a big advertising hoarding, advertising a skin whitening cream, another legacy of learned and imbibed racism. And then we close the film, but not the debate. I found this to be a deeply provocative and layered film. It spoke to what the return of these looted objects means to their home countries and really made me consider the role of our own great historical collections. And in all the editorials I've read about the return of the Benin bronzes recently, and indeed about the Elgin marbles in the UK, this film is sadly unique in centering young African voices, and it really made me rethink my own positions on restitutions, hearing what it meant to them to have just these 26 objects back. I think for that reason, it's really worth watching, particularly if you live in one of the great capital cities of the world that benefits from one of these great museums, where we can just casually walk in and see the entire world patrimony represented to really make us feel how much does this object mean to us and what would it mean to have it back where it belongs. So with that, I'd love to hear what you think about Dahomey if you've watched it. It has a running time of 68 minutes. It won the Golden Bear at Berlin, as I said, and it goes on release in the USA and UK on October 25th. It's really well worth a watch. Thank you for listening.